Welcome to Breaking Initiative. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and, share. That would be cool. Tell people about us. That'd be awesome. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, all of those things. My name is Brett.
And I'm Rob. This is the show where we break down our own tips and tricks to help you get the most out of your tabletop games. We share some of our favorite tools from around the community, discuss some of our past experiences, as well as maybe new things happening around with the hobby. And also, Brett, I want you to imagine, if you will, we're sitting at a table together, right? Playing Dungeons and Dragons. You are the DM, and you see a look on my face. Maybe I'm a little weary from all the 3 hours, 4, maybe 5, hopefully 6 hours that we've been playing. We need something to break things up a bit. I think that you might be the person to go to that has the go-to ideas for what to do.
Yes, guys. You all of a sudden are in a tavern, and there's a bunch of people around.
Wow, this is
one
very
table.
New. Yes. There's tables, taverns, and people in there?
Yep, tables, taverns, and people. Out of nowhere, somebody just said, boom, boom, teleported you. And There is this table where all of a sudden there's a competition going on. All these guys have cards. You see people like daggers out, guns out, all this kind of stuff. There's security. There's tons of big old pile of money just sitting there on the table. You're like, what is going on?
What is going on, Brett? What are we talking about today?
We're talking about playing games.
Right.
Inside of games. We're talking about, games and games. We're talking about the dice games. We're talking about, card games. Basically, it's when you get your starter kit, your starter equipment, and are you choosing dice or are you choosing cards?
Right.
We're going to give you some tips and tricks on that.
That is one of the interesting things about the game is that almost all the backgrounds kind of give you some of these little tools and things, and they don't tell you what to do with it. It's actually one of my favorite things about 5th edition. They give you all these things, they don't tell you what to do with it, or how to use it, or what it's used for. It's really just for whatever you think of. And there's really 4 of them, right? We're talking about the games in particular, because there's also musical instruments and stuff, right? Yeah. There's dice.
A little quick side note. I'm a monk who's also an urchin in one of my games. I was given a rat, like a pet rat. I just said, no, I wasn't. I just said, I'm not going to use that. I don't want the pet rat. I don't know. I just didn't do it. I just never put it in there. I think I saw it a few sessions later that I'm supposed to have a pet rat. No, I don't.
Not anymore. You didn't feed it. You pretended like you didn't have a pet rat long enough. It just kind of worked itself out.
It's going to work itself out, exactly. All right, go ahead, Rob.
No. So they give you these things. They just things like dice, right? And they'll even say you're proficient with dice, whatever that means. We're going to go into that. I know what it means. I'm just. There's also playing cards, and these are things that we have in the real world. And there's also Dragonchess and 3-Dragon Ante, but we want to really focus on some of those things that are really available in those first 2 options. We'll go over a little bit of the second 2, but why would we do this? Why would we come to the table, right? We're coming to the table to play some Dungeons and Dragons. What's the situation that comes to your mind, Brett, that we actually end up using these games that are awarded within the games?
Sometimes, if you will. Sometimes it's the players wanting to spice things up a bit. Sometimes it is the DM saying, hey, this is actually a key part of, the story, whatever. You're getting into the Thieves Guild and you got to win this card tournament. Maybe it's not always a fight or a battle, but it's to gain respect, or something. It could be a whole turn of a campaign, maybe you cheat and then now you're at odds with the person that you cheated against in the card game. I mean, look at Han Solo and Lando Calrissian. Good example. Mm-hmm. Their whole the Millennium Falcon was a card game. That's how he got it. And so.
And then he had a board game inside of it that they showed in the first in New Hope. Remember Chewbacca? What the Wookiee win?
Right. Yeah. So So, all right, Rob, you want to go over a couple of these games that we have in mind?
Yeah. Before we actually get into playing some of these and actually showing you some examples of things that you can do and really inject into your game, and some advice on how to do that, there's actually some times that I've done this in the past, right? Where one of my favorite things to do is to find a way to slip it into the story of the game. You were kind of hinting at that a little bit a moment ago,
Yeah.
where you just you layer it in there. And there's been a few times that I've done it. My favorite, for some reason, I think it's almost like a cliche that I just love to give into at this point. I somehow include some form of chess in every single game I DM at some one point in the game. It's almost like a signature of mine, where it has some sort of meaning to completing the overall game. It's always something very minor, but it comes into play eventually. Sometimes it's literally two players have to play chess. One of my favorite things to do, you have like the Thieves Guild, right? You mentioned the Thieves Guild. I did this once.
Yeah.
Where I actually had the players decide who was going to play against the leader of the Thieves Guild, who was sitting in the tavern. They said, and he said, if you beat me to a game of chess, right, I will give you the information that you want. But you have to swear that you're not going to get up off of this table. If you get up for one moment, deal's off. And they're like, okay, and they find their best chess player. Perhaps it's the person with the most proficiency, or they get the person that actually knows how to play chess, or something about it.
Right.
They sit him at the table, and then at that moment, the moment he sits down and the first piece is moved, all of his goons are actually staged in the tavern. They get up and start fighting the rest of the party. If he tries to get up, no, we're playing chess. And so they've secretly picked the person that is not playing in the actual combat. And so every time his initiative order comes around, he can progress the game further. The better he plays, quicker it ends the combat. Quicker he can get back into the combat, rather, and actually help his friends. Yeah. And then it all resolves itself. Or
I got a question about that. Do you just have them roll d20s? Like just,
yes.
D20, and then add your intelligence modifier, and you did well.
So I always ask them. You gotta put your feelers out. Some people just don't want to take too much time away from their game. They just want to sit down. They want to get to the next part of Dungeons & Dragons. Sometimes, you've been playing so long, it's nice to have that break of levity. Like, what is the DM doing? Something weird is going on. We're playing something that's not Dungeons & Dragons and Dungeons & Dragons. And the point of that is to also expound on their ability. So you can kind of gauge them a little bit. This person might want to just roll and add the proficiency bonus because they're proficient in it. Or you can be a little more creative with it and literally get out especially if you're knowledgeable about certain board games that are simple. Checkers and chess, for instance, are both easy ones that people would know. Right. Neither of those, by the way, are in the player's handbook. I don't know why chess isn't in there. There's Dragonchess, but there's not chess. Anyway, we'll get to that in a moment.
Well, you know how to convert that? Did you come up with the rules for chess?
Well, no, I didn't come up with the rules for chess. It's been around for like thousands.
No, I mean like in D&D.
Oh, yeah. So either, you're right.
What do you think I was asking?
Hints at it that you just do opposed skill checks right at each other.
Got it.
Whoever rolls the highest just wins. Or what you do when I'm doing it this way is a sort of progression of however many more you get higher than them at certain DCs, perhaps. Even like where you're almost setting a DC of like how much higher you need to get than them. And then that determines how many pieces you were able to take. And the more pieces you take, you might get, if you take enough pieces and they haven't taken as many of yours, you get advantage on your rolls. And so you might not have your proficiency bonus, but now you have advantage because you got lucky enough in the beginning. Or you have both, and you're just snowballing them, or getting snowballed.
Or you lose.
Or you just lose.
Or you lose. Losing's fun too.
Right. But the other option is to literally get out a chessboard and put everything down, and you just... every time their turn comes around, you take 2 moves and they take 2 moves. It might take a while, and it would no conceivable way ever get done. But what you can do is, by the next time it comes around, you have them roll a die at the beginning of each of their chess turns. And you literally take off, like you get to pick that many pieces. You have to go 1 pawn, 1 regular piece that's not a queen. unless you rolled high enough, then you can take one whole queen or two other lesser pieces. You can build this whole chart.
Sure.
I had one at one point. I got lost to the sands of time, but that was also really fun. I ran it a little bit like that time that I actually ran it. It was, but the option is just to also just roll dice, especially if you don't have a dice set.
Yeah, because you got to play it by who actually knows how to play, which will go into my next point. I genuinely did not know that that's how you did things, and that's really cool. So I'm hearing this for the first time. Here's one of the things that I actually came up with, not even playing D&D, but me and my wife and my kids will actually play this sometimes, which is D20 Hold'em, which is like Texas Hold'em, but with D20s. And we literally we use like all of my D20s that I have here, and we'll roll all of them. And we came up basically just with like a grid, just like how poker works, ace high, a pair, two pairs, three of a kind. There would be no flushes because there's no suits, but it's all based off like numbers. Even we go crazy of like, three pairs or nine of a kind, whatever. You know what I mean? We made a whole crazy list. And so we've done that where we played that actually for hours outside of D&D. That was tons of fun. Where you could do it. You could do it actually just in D&D normal, where you roll 2d20s and then you hide those, and then you would roll 5 other d20s that everybody else sees. Look up the game of Texas Hold'em. It could work that way. You can do the exact same thing with d12s too. But one of the things that you hit on that I wanted to touch on was the actual skill level of the person itself, which you need to take an account for. So something that just happened in our Strahd game, we played a game where it was rolling 4d6s, and I'll explain the rules in a second. But I could tell that one of the people we were playing with was like a gambler, and they were good at, like, they probably played poker, these kind of things. And so
you can tell by the way you're talking.
Yeah, Nick, we know that, right? Nick, he was like, oh yeah, all right, I'm putting in this much gold, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. He knew how to put on a straight face, and he really knew how to play. Not really fair for Brett. It could be fair for maybe my character. So how do you put that into play? And so one of the things I thought of for that was actually creating maybe a max ante, or maybe a max amount of gold. So like some character can't just like basically just run another character completely dry of all their money in one run.
That's no fun.
Well,
you gotta be able to just squeeze all of the money out of them.
But the thing is
card
that,
shark with them.
To be honest with you, Nick's character Tradix makes sense. He would be able to do that. But still, my character might have some decent card game skills. I didn't have, but I'm not great. I'm horrible at gambling. Once there's a quarter on the line, I will lose, and I will.
It's your poker face.
Profusely.
Like, I don't know much about poker, but I know that you have a poker face. I mean, you don't have a poker face, rather.
I'm not good. I was like, ah! Yeah, anyways, so Rob, do you want to get into playing some games or what?
Yeah. So you're gonna show me, I think, the easiest one first, right? I will
the
preface
easiest one.
This all by saying, I don't know. You said you guys know how to play Texas Hold'em. I'm sorry, man. I don't know how to play Texas Hold'em. But
okay,
we're gonna go through this step by step.
Do you know how to play poker?
I kind of know how to play poker. Yes.
Okay, so it's the same thing with a pair, a three of a kind, a two pairs, all of these things.
Right.
Those all apply. The only thing that doesn't apply is anything with flushes, because that means a flush. It has to deal with a specific suit. You need five clubs is a flush. It's like, well, there's no, the dice don't have suits. So, but let's play the one first that we played in our Strahd campaign.
Right.
Which
was
the
4d4, right?
The 4d4s, yeah. Okay. And so we'll be honest. I'm going to roll. I don't care if I lose. This is all for learning. So we roll 4d4, right? So roll your 4d4.
Okay.
So what we would do, you rolled your 4d4. Now, this is where betting would come in. This is as like, I don't know, people are going to bed or there's some really super high stake thing to get into the Thieves Guild. Whatever, how you want to play this. You would roll your 4d4, and then you would make your bets. You would go, okay, based off of what I just rolled, you bet. And before we rolled our first one, you'd have to ante in to even play. So, like what we did was you got to throw in 20 gold to even play. All right, so 20 gold's already in the pot, so you're already going to be out of 20 gold if you don't keep playing. So,
I
you roll your 44. Yeah, there's 20 gold in. So the everybody's good, everybody likes it. So me and Rob, we like, all right, so we want to go to the next round. We would reveal one dice.
What if I don't like mine? Or am I playing games with you? Mind games. I'm sorry. So yeah, go ahead. So, yeah, reveal one dice, right? One die.
You would reveal, you would reveal one die. Sorry, not dice. My bad. And then you would bet. You would bet again. Now, like I was saying, if somebody else you're playing with is very skilled at gambling, maybe you say, hey, you can't go past 20 gold throwing in the pot. So you can't just say like, all in, my 500 and whatever gold. Like, dude, you just lost everything.
I mean, that works kind of in-game too. Like, man, we're not betting any more than that with you. You're a shark. So
right.
You're just going to rob us blind.
That's pretty good.
Who actually says their number first? Who shows first?
I believe who's ever going to bet. I think, I'm going to bet, and then I'm going to show my number.
All right.
And then, okay. Yeah. So it's a 4, right? And so then I bet 10 gold on top of that. And then so you say, if you're still in, you would say, all right, here's my number. Say your number, and you either say you bet the 10 gold to even go to the next round, or you could even bet above if you're like, no, I think I got a pretty good hand. I'm going to bet even above that.
5 gold. I'm sorry. 5. My number is 5, and I want to raise it 3 gold.
So it's 13 gold total.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll add in that extra 13 gold. I'll add in that extra 3 gold. Okay, so you raised it. So you would now do your number first then. Because you took the lead.
So I raised it 3, and so my first one was a 5.
Yep.
My second one is a 6.
Okay. All right. I'm going to, and then are you going to bet anything with that?
I'm comfortable with 13. It's my lucky number.
Okay, I'm gonna raise that another 5 gold. So it's a total of 18 gold in the pot, and my number is 3. So I have a 4 and a 3 showing, and you have a 5 and a 6 showing.
This would be a really boring video if I dropped out, so I'm just gonna go all in. I push all of my gold into the center. 20
Which
gold.
Was only there it is. All right. And I go, you know what? I actually feel good about this. And I match that. Right? So you have 11 showing. I have 7 showing. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay. So what are your other 2 dice?
They were 2 1s.
Nice. So mine were 2 6s. So you have...
Oh!
Yeah. I showed you my lowest, and then I matched that. So that worked out.
I see.
Pretty good. So I got 38 gold because my total was 19. Your total was 11. Your total was 13. So I won. So then I get all the gold. Yay! Right. So that's one way. If that's confusing, we quickly Googled one way how to play. Our DM did on how to do this, like right there, and it was pretty much. It was really easy because that's a really fast game. It's boom, you roll your 4 dice.
It's a very simplified version of Liar's Dice. Have you ever played Liar's Dice?
Is that in Pirates of the Caribbean?
It is. It's the one they play in Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. It's a very simplified version of that allows it to go really fast. You can just play Liar's Dice, look up the rules, but this is very similar to the concept where you're just trying to reveal some of your dice, and then you go around the table and then place your bets, and it's really quick.
Yeah.
In comparison.
So
easy to explain too.
We could do another game, right? Where we play, and we could do another game of basically straight up 21. And there's 2 ways to do this. One, you take a D12, and everything just counts as it is to 21. Okay, so a 1 is a 1, a 12 is a 12. Or if everybody's well known with 21, you could spice it up to where ones are actually like aces, so there could be a 1, or they can be 11, and then you could have the 10 be 10, 11, 12. So that's like actually 10 Jack Queen if you actually know the game of 21. Go off of your table. And maybe everybody plays cards anyways, like every other Tuesday or something. Like, actually, we do a poker night and we do a D&D night. All right, cool. Then you guys would all know blackjack, and you could do that. Or just play it like the numbers. And so 21 would be simple. I say simple, but I'm going to be explaining it. We would roll one D12 and then another D12, and then we would hide one dice. This is at the table. So I would show that I have a 12 showing. And we're going to play it like the numbers as they are to make it easy. So I have a 12 showing, right? And let's say that I'm the house, or however you want. I'm going.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'll go last.
You do the pleasure of doing the house.
So I'll be last. So then, Rob, what number do you have showing?
Oh, so I need to roll 2 dice or 1 die?
Roll one. Really, roll 2 dice. But if we were all at the table together, you would roll one. You would roll one separately and keep one hidden. But you can just roll 2. Make sure you keep one hidden. Or we don't need to do that because we're on video.
All right.
Okay.
4.
4. All right. 4 showing. And now it's just like I will roll each dice and tell you the number. Do you want to get hit? You say hit me, and I'll roll a d12.
So wait,
and I'll tell
we're
you the number.
at 12 plus 4, right?
No. This is for you. You're at 4 by yourself.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hit me.
Okay. So you don't want to go. If you go over 21, you bust.
I know.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna
And
hit
also,
21.
just to remember this, in between between every turn, you can bet. So as he gets before right now, he could have bet, once or even twice, however you want to do that, whether there's an ante in or not. And so I could roll a dice for him. Okay, it's a 6. So from there, he can now bet, and then say if he wants another dice.
But he's at 18. That's risky. Right?
Right now, you're only showing 10.
No, I meant the house, right? You just said you got a 6, right?
No. That's for you. That's your 6.
Oh, this is so hard to keep track of. It's online.
Sorry, you're up. The house goes last.
All right.
You're up. So you have a 4 and a 6 showing.
Oh, 4 and a 6. Hit me.
Okay. And again, before he even says hit me, he could throw in more gold. And then I'll roll again. Okay. It's a 2.
It's a 2.
So you have a 4, 6, and a 2 showing. I don't even know the other number.
Oh my God, it's so low. So that's the thing about this is we're also not able to do that little trick that they do in like those really smart like mathematicians do in Vegas where they're counting what cards are still left in the deck and all that stuff.
This
is a good table, guys. Get over here.
It's called counting cards. I mean, it's just counting number, but this is randomly wrong.
This is completely random, so that'll never have anything to do with anything.
Never know.
Yeah, yes. Don't even think about it too hard.
How many 12s are there? Why is there 7 12s and only 2 2s?
Yeah.
I don't know what deck you're rolling with. That's a charlatan if I've ever seen one.
Hit me.
Okay, so again, before he even says hit me, he get put on even more money. Okay. It's possible he didn't bust, but I rolled you a 10. So that means you have 18 showing. No. you have 22 showing. So you busted.
Yeah. Damn it.
Right. So here's the thing with the house though in this game in playing 21. Maybe you bring it up to 22, I don't know. But I legit rolled a 12 and a 9, which is 21. I just straight up rolled a 12 and a 9.
Yes, of course. I take your word for it.
I don't know how I can lift
pick up
this
the dice and show me. That's how it works.
I don't know how this could work, but that's what I rolled.
You're kind of screwed if you're playing an online game because you have to have either a dice cam or a lot of honesty between the group.
Right, and yes, that would be. Which, to be honest with you, I don't always trust Nick, man. I just don't always trust him. Sometimes just a 2. I'm like, when was the last time you rolled a natural 1? I roll three of those things all the time. Every night I'm rolling like 3 natural 1s. They never roll one.
I never call other people out because I don't want people to call me out if I'm having a lucky night, man.
Right.
Yeah, the Vegas people in the suits are gonna come behind me and just take me away. What? No, I got 3 criticals, man.
I gotta talk to his girlfriend Kelly, who's there. I just gotta be like, hey man, you gotta watch him when he's rolling. That'll be really good. All right. So anyways, those are 2 games. I mean, I could show you a Texas Hold'em game too, where you roll 2 dice. That's like your hand, and then you roll 5 other D20s. Basically, one thing at a time, just like Texas Hold'em. You know, the run, the whatever, then the river. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but we don't need to keep going with that because I think this is already a lot of information. And really, I love the idea of what you talked about before of how like nobody actually says how these games are. They're just like, hey, by the way, you have dice in your starter kit. Hey, by the way, you have cards in your starter kit. What am I supposed to do with them? Dungeons and Dragons, whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Probably the oldest use of them, which is a great thing to end on. You take 2 dice, 2 D6s, and we say that that's what was in your dice kit, right? You had 2 D6s in your dice kit. You get some loot. You can't decide who gets it. You roll the dice. The dice decides who gets the loot. It's as old as time, even adopted into World of Warcraft and other games as well. That started all the way back in the Gary Gygax times.
That's just whoever rolls 2 D6s?
Right.
You roll 2 D6s, whoever rolls highest wins.
And explain it in game. Eventually, they just started saying their characters brought dice into the dungeons. It was just as necessary as a 10-foot pole to feel for traps. You brought a pair of dice. That's just the way old school D&D was.
Right. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Rob, this was fun. Are you good? Did you get it all out?
Yeah. No. I mean, I could go on and on about all sorts of ways I've used chess in my games, but I would bore you to death. So I think that's a good place to leave it.
I think it's great. And really, honestly, guys, it's a quick search. It comes up pretty fast on multiple things to do whenever there's people just sitting around. Our DM did it in like 3 minutes. He said, hold on, guys. And he just did a quick little 3-minute long search. He was like, all right, I got a game. And that's what sparked this whole video. So, guys, we appreciate you. Do not forget to subscribe. That's a like, by the way. That's not a subscribe. I think that would be a subscribe.
Yeah, I did the poke, and you did this. Yeah.
Yeah.
A combination of both, preferably.
And again, we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. I think Apple Podcasts sometimes comes on later for whatever reason. But, we appreciate you guys, and see you on the next one.
See you when we see you.